Hey guys, I'm Fish Guy here from Viking Aquatics. Now, in setting up this fish room, I figured it'd be a great time to put a video out and setting up a fish room and how to do it on a budget. So, the first thing that in my journey of doing this was, what stands do I put in here? What's the biggest bang for my buck, and how am I going to hold the most amount of fish tanks and still make it look decent? So, the center blocks and 2x4s, as you see right here, are what I decided to go with, and the reason being is it was cheap. So each cinder block was about $2 each, minus I think it's like $1.80 for some of the shorter ones that just give it a little bit more of a lip, so that way I don't go straight up to the ceiling. And the 2x4s were $4 a piece. Now I used roughly, let's see, 60 to 70 cinder blocks. And when it came to 2x4s, I did the 10-foot long ones. Some of them I was able to cut and get a little bit more out of them, but for each layer I did 3 2x4s. So do the math, it was actually a lot cheaper than buying some of the metal stands. And the reason why I didn't go with the metal stands is there's a lot of hit or miss out there, and I didn't want to take that chance and get the one that was a miss and have it break on me. So I've done the cinder blocks and 2x4s before, and they've worked out great for me. So I hold 3 to 4 10-gallon tanks, even just in this section, and it still holds up really well, no complaints. And like I said, it's affordable. Black paint, roughly about $40 to $50 in black paint when it came to painting the aquariums. The cinder blocks and 2x4s, just a good latex paint. You can go to Walmart. It's like $19.46 a gallon. So I bought 2 of them, and I'm still using the second one right now. Now, aquariums. This is the tricky part. Now, you can spend a lot of money on aquariums, or you can save a lot of money. So if you go out to the big box stores and buy them, make sure that you're taking advantage of any 50% off sales when it comes to those aquariums to get the most out of your money. So usually with the big box stores, 2 to 3 times a year, they will do 50% off of your aquariums, and that's when you're going to get probably the best deal and the only deal that you're going to see on those aquariums. Other than that, they're 10 to 25% off, or look for them used. I got lucky, and I was managed to actually bump in and meet 2 people that were looking to downsize their fish room. One guy I got, I think, about 15 tanks off of, roughly about $8 to $9 a piece. And the other one was $10 a piece for the 10-gallon tanks, which wasn't a bad deal at all. He had about 40 of them. He actually operates and owns his own fish tank cleaning business, so he had a pallet of them sitting in a garage, so it was a good deal. So retail-wise, $14.99 for a 10-gallon tank. That's with the 50% off. That was the cheapest I could find, and the problem I had is no one has 20 to 30 fish tanks that you can buy at once. So you have to buy 2 or 3 at once and then hope they get another shipment in. Not ideal. So be careful when you are getting aquariums off of people, off of Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, anything like that. Make sure you're checking the seals. Make sure you're checking if there's no cracks, dings, or bangs on the aquarium, so that way you're not running into any issues later on. Now, the 120 right there, I've had that tank. The 56 column I got for an actual really great deal at a garage sale is $30 for the tank and the stand. I just had to do a minor repair on the rim of it, but it was a great deal. So for the 40s and the 20s that I have, I actually met a lady that runs a reptile rescue that had some fish tanks running, and she just wanted to get rid of them. So I was able to give her, I think it was about $60 to $80 for all the aquariums, because she just wanted to get rid of them. So all in all, I bought almost all of this used. So that was the best deal that I could find when it came to aquariums. Next, it's a little bit more of a pricier point, would be the PVC, your Airline tubings, and my Alita AL60 pump. Now roughly with this part of the project, with the pump alone, that was $200. Airline tubing, check valves, and the PVC, and I'll tell you what, the price of PVC piping has gone almost triple since the last time I've used it in a big project like this. So it cost me about $300 to $350 for all the Airline tubing, check valves, the pump, the PVC, and the hangers for the PVC that I just have basically gray like hole straps pretty much. You don't even really need a whole lot to anchor them to the walls when it comes to this Airline. It's really quiet, doesn't vibrate much or anything like that, doesn't move things much, just holds them in place. So when it comes to the fish room, like I said, it can be a pricey venture. But if you do it right and you plan it out, you can save quite a bit of money that you wouldn't have. And the one thing I will say for anybody that is not ADHD like I am, this is patience. You can't just jump into it. It does take time. So, and this has been a long time coming, setting this up. I'm still working on painting some of the last couple of fish tanks. I still have this row to do for painting the fish tanks, but I need to get the other aquariums that are in front of me up and running so I can move these fish over to here. So, next part is heating the fish room. Now there's tons and tons of different ways to do this. I use the oil radiant heating. It's probably the most efficient that I can find versus installing natural gas, oil, furnace, radiators, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, my electric is actually pretty cheap for where I live. I can't complain too much. So to heat the fish room, to keep this room about 75 degrees Fahrenheit at all times, we're roughly, I think it was about $56 to $60 increase a month in the electric bill. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's worth it for this hobby and the amount of fish tanks I have going right now. And now that the volume of water has surpassed about 500 gallons in this fish room, actually all the aquariums help keep some of that heat in here. So I'm going to be experimenting with some different things when it comes to saving electricity with the actual fish room itself. So the oil furnace heater thing was about $50 to $60. But like I said, reoccurring monthly charges would be that roughly $60 bill that you see an increase in the electric. And like I said, my electric rates are actually a little bit lower than the national average, so I can't complain too much. Other than that, lighting is the last thing that I'm kind of working on, and lighting I'm still kind of dabbling with some things. I had some LED lights that I had from before that you see on top of the 120. I have some on top of here as well. The lighting, I'm probably going to end up going to Home Depot. They have like 18-inch or 24-inch LED light strips that can plug in. They're under cabinet like lighting for like kitchens, and I think like $12 each. So if I do each section with one, it'd be a little expensive, but it should get me through and get me going. I tried doing these stick it LED like light strips, like the ropes, and the LED like the flat things that you put on like the walls and things like that. It just doesn't, it's not as bright as I was hoping it would be. And I actually bought the outdoor ones. They're actually supposed to be brighter, and they just didn't do the job. Even lapping it 2 to 3 times, it does make it look decent, but for that wow and the nice shiny light, it didn't do what I was hoping it would do. So that was a little bit of a waste of money on that. It ran me about $25. So like I said, lighting is the last part. But in grand total, I mean, you add it up, each place is going to be different around you where you can find the aquariums for cheap. Sometimes you can find them dirt cheap and get a really great deal. And the one thing I will say that I did learn, if you have aquariums that you can't use, so I got roughly 6 to 8 aquariums that just didn't trust it. They didn't look too awesome. I actually ended up getting them for free off of someone, so it wasn't a bad deal. But you can use them for aquarium tops. Now, what I'm talking about, so if you take the aquarium and break it down, you can actually turn this into an aquarium top and save some money that way. And this is actually cheaper than buying the aquarium tops, or you can use like a corrugated plastic. I'll show you that next. But with this, I just cut the glass, and you can get these hinges, or I even bought like plastic double-sided sticky tape hinges, and they work great. The other thing I was talking about were the corrugated plastic. And these little knobs are really cool. They're just a double-sided sticky knob. You can get 10 of them for $5. I'll leave a link down below. I just ordered some more so I can finish off the aquarium as well. But these, they're plastic, and you can still see through them. The light can still get through them. They don't get all funky, which is nice, and you can cut them to fit the aquariums. The next aquarium top that I'm talking about So this is another version that I made. You can see these hinges right here. They're just a plastic double-sided sticky tape hinge. I cut the glass to fit so that way I can leave a top. What I did to reinforce these is actually added 2 or 3 drops of super glue to it, and that way it anchors them onto there. That way you can keep the water levels still accurate because you're keeping the condensation down, you're not losing a lot of heat in the aquarium, and you're keeping debris and all that kind of crud from falling inside the aquarium itself. So I hope this helps you guys. This is kind of a basic breakdown of what the fish room is and how much it cost, and honestly that investment was probably the best one I made for the $200. Like I said, all the fish aquariums in here, we're going to be pumping up to I think almost 40 aquariums in here, and it runs it fine. And people are concerned with the back pressure. I'm going to show you a little trick that I do with that. Now I know it's not the most glamorous and it's not the ones that you can buy, so a lot of people have problems with pressure. So with this, I just do this twice a day. So when I come down to check out the fish in the morning, and then when I come down at night to check on them, to kind of tuck everybody in, feed them and all that things, I release the pressure that way so there's not a huge buildup of pressure. But like I said, the Alita AL60 was probably the best investment I've made. What's crazy is it's super quiet. It is quieter than any other air pumps out there that you have. You don't have the buzzing, the vibrating, anything like that. It sits still, it does what it needs to do, and not a problem. The straps I was talking about are right there. You can buy a roll of this at Home Depot, 25 feet for like $5, and you cut it to fit, you drop a screw in, and it's all set to go. So, I hope that helps you guys. If you're looking to set up a fish room, if not, and you're just looking to set up a couple of tanks, I hope that helps as well. So like I said, always plan bigger and better, because with this hobby, you're gonna end up with more fish tanks. You're definitely gonna end up with more. You're not gonna be able to just stop at 1 or 2 fish tanks. There's a reason why it's called multiple tank syndrome. You're gonna end up with more. So I started off with 1 or 2 aquariums, and now we're back to this. So, thank you guys for watching. Check out the rest of my videos. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.